So today the topic we are going to discuss is about functions of sympathetic nervous system. But first, we are going to discuss basics of what a nervous system is. So the nervous system is a complex network of specialized cells, tissues, and organs that coordinates and controls the function of the body. Now, it is responsible for transmitting and processing information throughout the body, allowing us to perceive, interpret, and respond to our environment. Now, the nervous system can be divided into two main parts. Number first, peripheral nervous system, and number second, central nervous system. Now, the central nervous system can also be divided into two parts, brain and spinal cord. It is the control center of the nervous system and is responsible for processing and integrating information received from the body and external environment. Now, the brain is the most complex organ in the body and is divided into different regions that specialize in various functions such as, cognition, sensory perception, motor control, and emotions. While the spinal cord is a long cylindrical bundle of the nerve fibers that extend from the base of the brain to the lower back. It serves as the pathway for communication between the brain and the rest of the body. Next we have is peripheral nervous system, which consists of all the nerves and ganglia, also called as clusters of the nerve cell bodies that lie outside of the central nervous system. Now, it is further divided into two types: autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Now, first we will discuss somatic nervous system. Now, the somatic nervous system controls voluntary movements and transmits sensory information from the body to the CNS. Now, when it controls voluntary movements, it means that it has got sensory neurons which carry signals from the sensory organs. Now, what are the sensory organs? Skin, eyes, ears, to the CNS. And of course, the motor neurons that carry signals from the CNS to the muscles, allowing us to do voluntary movements. Next is autonomic nervous system. Now, the autonomic nervous system is a deviation of the peripheral nervous system that controls the involuntary functions of the body. Now, it regulates various bodily processes including heart rate, digestion, respiration, pupillary response, and sexual arousal. Now, the autonomic nervous system works in coordination with the central nervous system, which includes, the brain and spinal cord. We have already discussed that. Now, this autonomic nervous system consists of two main divisions. Number one, sympathetic nervous system, and number two, parasympathetic nervous system. Now, these two divisions have complementary functions and often have opposite effects on target organs. Now, first we will discuss sympathetic nervous system. Now, the sympathetic division is responsible for fight or flight response, which prepares the body for intense physical activity or stress. When activated, it increases heart rate, dilates the airways, constricts blood vessels. Now, we will discuss all those effects hereafter. In non-essential organs, it stimulates the release of glucose from liver and enhances alertness and focus, let's say, in the brain. Now, these responses help the body to respond to emergencies or challenging situations. Next we have is parasympathetic nervous system. So the parasympathetic division is associated with the rest and digest response, promoting, as the name suggests, relaxation, conservation of energy, and the maintenance of normal bodily functions. Now, when it activated, it slows down the heart rate, stimulates digestion, and constricts the pupils, and enhances nutrient absorption. Now, these all effects are opposite to the sympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic system allows the body to recover and conserve energy during non-stressful periods. Now, both the sympathetic and parasympathetic work together to maintain homeostasis and ensure the body functions optimally in different situations. Now, they constantly adjust their activity levels to meet the body needs and response to changing internal and external conditions. Now, it is important to note that the autonomic nervous system functions involuntarily, meaning we have little conscious control over its activities. But certain practices such as deep breathing, or if the person is meditating, or the relaxation techniques can help modulate the autonomic nervous system's responses and promote balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic activities. Now we have seen the deviance of the nervous system, which is peripheral nervous system, central nervous system, and then the central nervous system goes down to brain and spinal cord, while the peripheral nervous system goes down to autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. Now the autonomic nervous system further divides into sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Please memorize that. Now, in the next step, we are going to discuss the anatomy of the sympathetic nervous system. Now consider this a spinal cord. Now in the upper, it has got pons and medulla, while in the lower, it extends up to the coccyx, where coxogenial ganglia fuse together and make a ganglion pair. Now this is the left chain ganglia, while it also has right chain ganglia, but I have not specified it because it belongs to the parasympathetic nerves. We will discuss it in our further lectures. Now there is this preganglionic fibers and the postganglionic fibers. Now, the preganglionic fibers originate from T1 to L2 and L3. And the cell bodies of these neurons lie in the spinal gray matter. Now the nerve fibers extend to the paired ganglia and creating the sympathetic chains that lie immediately lateral to the vertebral column or extend to the unpaired distal plexuses. Now we will discuss the location of each of the nerve and its constituted function in the sympathetic system. Now first, we have this region which is, of the left chain ganglia, which is called superior cervical ganglion. Now this superior cervical ganglion supplies to the eyes and salivary glands, including the lacrimal gland, mucous membranes of the nose and palate, submaxillary gland, sublingual gland, and the mucous membrane of the mouth, and the parotid glands. Next we have is this thoracic region, which is from the T1 to the T5, and it supplies to the heart, lungs, aorta, and more specifically larynx, trachea, bronchi, esophagus, etc. Next we have is this splanchnic nerves. Now these are the splanchnic nerves. Now it involves greater splanchnic nerves obviously and the lesser splanchnic nerves, which comes down to the celiac ganglion and then to the adrenal medulla and other parts. Other parts including stomach, abdominal blood vessels, liver and bile duct, pancreas and adrenal medulla, as I have specified. Next we have is this lumbar and sacral region, which comes down to the L1 and L2, and it supplies to the large intestine and rectum, kidney, bladder, gonads, and external genitalia. Now the primary neurotransmitter released at the terminal end of the postganglionic neuron at the synapse with the target organ is norepinephrine. Other neurotransmitters are also involved, such as epinephrine and dopamine. Now this was the anatomy of the sympathetic nervous system, where I discussed the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar regions of the left chain ganglia, which is associated with the sympathetic nervous system. Next, we will move on towards our main topic, which is fight or flight response.
Ditch the hefty textbooks and embrace the convenience of learning on the go. Our interactive video content keeps you engaged, making learning medicine enjoyable